Welcome to the second episode of our podcast. You know what I just realized, Angel?
What?
That with the first episode, I said, let's introduce ourselves first. And I just introduced myself. That's where it ended.
Welcome to our relationship.
Now say something about yourself.
Okay, my name's Yao. Nice to meet you all.
He doesn't like to talk about himself.
Yeah, it's a good thing to get me on a podcast and stuff. I'm the perfect person for this, right?
So, in this episode, we want to talk about, you guessed it, relationships. Lots of people ask me, what's the secret to happy marriage? So we've been together for 7 years.
I can't say 8 years.
8?
Well, we were together.
Oh yeah, 8, sorry. Always count because the boys are 7. But yeah, some time of pregnancy and a relationship. A little bit of it before. Yeah, 8 years. They say the crisis come around this time, Angel. What do you think?
The what comes around?
Crisis. Relationship crisis should come around this time.
I think we've already been through that, haven't we?
Have we? When?
See, that's how deep our relationship and stuff is. I had the crisis, you didn't notice, and then we're here now on the podcast. I'm glad that everybody's here listening to us go on about our relationship.
But we're great, right? No, but really, what's the secret to a happy marriage? No? I think there is no secret. First of all, you just do what you can with what you have, I'd say. But I'd say that what lots of people do wrong is that they look for Mr. or Mrs. Perfect, and they're never happy with what they have, and they just always look for something better, more beautiful or handsome, more something more. And the thing is, that's not the point. The point is to do the best with what you have, no? But of course, there are certain things that have to be there, like you have to have common values. I'd say that's very important, to have the same values, the same sense of humor.
Yeah, you don't want your partner to think that you feel like they've settled for you. Christ.
I'm listening.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like you've settled. Like, oh, don't worry, you'll do. Let's just get on with it and see what we can do.
No, of course, like there has to be a spark at the beginning. Anyway, you need to know, is that the right person? Of course, yeah. You have to have that feeling, but you know it's normal that that spark will not be there after some time, but you can create a different spark. You still have to keep dating, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not just settle because you're married. You know, he has to or she has to love you the most in the world and treat you like the most important person in the whole universe. That's important, yeah? And you have to feel the same about them, of course. And once you have that, you can build something massive.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
If you're both willing to put some work into it, of course.
Yeah. I think, again, one of the things that you probably do have to do is just listen to each other, have the certain boundaries and things that you need to understand. But you sometimes only get that with time. Obviously, there's certain things that you do, and everybody knows between right and wrong. If you turn around and you're going out and you're doing this and doing that, and you wonder why the relationship's not working then. Okay. You know that. People understand that. Sometimes they don't believe it, but they do. But no, just generally, yeah. I think it's just understanding each other, try to not annoy each other too much.
Although sometimes you annoy without trying.
Sometimes you have to listen and put up with their sense of humour. But when you love someone, you just
Oh,
still no, exactly. It's just understanding one another and just
communicate. It sounds
yeah.
such a cliche, but it's number one, I'd say. No, and what a lot of people do wrong, including us at times, of course, that we don't listen. No, we don't listen to the other person, especially when you communicate in the heat of the moment, when you're really emotional. That's when you shouldn't talk, I'd say. You can release your emotions, of course, but always have a proper conversation when you calm down, where you listen. That's a skill you need to learn.
Everybody
Yeah, I'm still
does.
learning. Sometimes I think I do listen to you. Sometimes I don't.
No, it's
Well, at least I know when I don't listen, and then there is no one to blame when you know.
but then it's also taken on board the fact that if you haven't listened and you know you haven't listened, or you've done something and you've got to own your part of it and things, because if you're not willing to do that as well, then it gets one-sided. And this can be on actually both sides. That say you getting into an argument and somebody says something, somebody says the other. Fortunately, we all have our own experiences, so we have our own biases. Somebody will say that, and because the bias from their own past, it kicks in when it's actually not meant in that way, or you've taken it that way, and it means that someone's just gone. The other one's looking at each other, going, "Why are you?" Because there's something in your past.
Underneath,
Yeah, that's
underlying, yeah. There's always an explanation to everything. Like when someone judges other people's actions, there's always something underneath that we don't know. So no one has the right to judge.
we're human, right? So
Yeah.
we all make mistakes. We all do things sometimes that maybe you're not proud of, or some things that you just don't mean to do. But then at the same time, take a pinch of salt, take a moment, take 10 seconds in some cases, and just reflect back. But when you try and go back and start talking, I'm not saying 10 seconds, maybe it's a few minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes, an hour or something, where you just get time to just sit back and reflect. But then when you do, come back at each other, being able to kind of really talk and not just hold that grudge, that anger and stuff in you, where you carry on with that conversation. Because by being vulnerable, like if I'm vulnerable to you or you're vulnerable to me, it shows and stuff, and your partner will understand that and be more in a position to be vulnerable with you in another occasion and things. Own it.
Yeah.
I did something wrong. Okay, I did something wrong. I'm really sorry. Blah blah blah. Da, da, da. You carry on with life.
Lots of people I notice have, including me at times, although I'm better now, I think.
Okay.
They have a problem to admit.
That
Okay, I screwed up.
Yeah.
And I own it. Yeah.
Again, it's experience that people have had throughout their lives and things could be a factor and stuff of that. But then also, some of it's just pride, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Ego.
Yeah,
It's
ego.
hard to,
no,
yeah.
sometimes it's hard to let go of that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I think that we have is, don't get me wrong, we can argue, we can say silly things and stuff at times. I can totally not listen to really what you say and stuff sometimes, but I know that if you know that you've done something wrong, you'll admit to it. And that makes it a lot easier for me. And obviously might sound selfish, but that gives me the confidence to make sure that I will always do that and stuff to you. So even if we've had an argument and, we're not happy with each other, you're doing your thing and we're like, oh, whatever, we're not chatting and things. In my heart of hearts, I know that I can turn around and say, after I've had the breather, I can turn around and say, look, I'm really sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. No, you in that moment there, you could absolutely just kind of go rah and stuff and carry that on. But if I think in quite a few occasions, you'll take that at face value, actually knowing that I mean what I'm saying.
That's what I wanted to say, that when you see the person means it, rarely you just keep going. Usually when people keep going, it's because the apology doesn't seem sincere.
Again, experience. Maybe this has either happened before, or maybe, again, from their personal experience, when they've had something similar that happened, that life experiences meant that the people who turned around and said sorry or whatever, they hadn't meant it. But you know, sometimes you just take other things into the relationship.
And I think also expectations. No, sometimes we have like this. You should be certain way, which creates lots of unnecessary problems. I think like you need to accept things for what they are. It's like when sometimes people say, "No, my partner changed," but they never changed. You just didn't see certain things before. I'd say no.
Yeah, some things come to light.
Yeah.
But we're all different. We've all got our little kind of quibbles and things that maybe surface with time. But then what you hold on to, unless it's something that's so out there and, you know, you're just not comfortable with it, then I get it. But we've all got our little quirks and things that, you know, when people get closer and comfortable, they come out, don't they? And with that, hopefully, those things, I think, kind of actually bring you together even more, because that means that person's more comfortable and things with you than probably people they've been with in the past and things.
And when we touched on the arguments, I want to say that I think that arguments are very important to have. Some people think that the goal should be to not argue. Like they think, oh, I argue with my partner, so it's not good. But
I don't agree with you. I'm going to argue with you. Sorry, I know it's awful.
No, because you can't agree on everything.
And why?
That's what arguments are, or disagreements.
Yeah.
That you just, you know, get on the same path again. You just have a hurdle. It doesn't mean that you have to throw plates, at each other, because some people think that that's what arguments are. Like, or that you're absolutely crazy. No, like you can argue in a normal way.
It's
just exchange of opinions.
Yeah,
and that's very, very important in a healthy relationship. Otherwise, you hold things within. And it will backfire sooner or later.
Yeah,
it will not go away, because then you have couples who never argue, perfect couples for 30 years, and then they get divorced, unexplainable reasons, because they were such a great couple, they never argued. It's because they were holding it in for years,
and
it's just So
I don't think. Right, so. You can have a disagreement, which is certainly you can have an argument. From my personal view, it's just understanding boundaries of either one of you, or
opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's about learning more about that person that you're with, or persons that you're with, depending on your relationship with whoever. I don't see any, as long as people are not going out there and, like you say,
swear at each other or throw things at each other, then all good.
And it's funny, because I'm not really a fan of the whole swearing thing. I'm not saying that we don't shout and things and stuff occasionally. I'm not a fan of the whole, beep, 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 beep. But because I maybe it was just how my family and stuff are and things. It's funny because I could swear like with my mates and things, but I never swore in the house, and I never felt like it was acceptable and stuff to do that.
Yeah, I do swear as well, of course.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like in the argument, you can.
But not
yeah, not at each other. That wouldn't be acceptable.
Don't get me wrong. We've had arguments and you've gone off and you just.
But not at you, like you are. Beep.
Yeah. It's.
Some people ask me how can you argue in English if it's not your first language? Don't you feel like you wanna just do it in Slovak? And I say, you think I don't swear in Slovak? Yao knows all the words.
Yeah.
So you can get it out of your system either way.
But I still think, you'll do that more so when you stub a toe or something, and then you'll go probably beep in Slovak, and it's fun. It's actually quite funny rather than
for you.
Yeah, we're just hoping that kids never hear it. That they're thinking they come back and they say,
what is beep?
Yeah, what's
beep,
mummy? You're like, uh-oh.
They just say it, they repeat it. Huh?
Yeah.
But then we always make sure, and that was my idea, which I think would have been your idea as well, that we always make up in front of the kids. That's very important. When your kids see you, and we don't agree that you shouldn't argue in front of the kids. They should see it's the part of life. Then they should see that it's not the end of the world. That you just make up, but all is well. Yeah, you say sorry. That's very important. They see it. Otherwise, if they're not used to seeing it, it can really not damage them. It's not the right word. Like if they come across an argument in life, it can really they're not prepared for it. Maybe they don't know how to handle it. Whereas when they see it's normal part of life, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Of course, like we said, you don't swear or
go absolutely crazy and things.
That of course is not the greatest in front of the kids. But they see it, and then you make up in front of them, which is sometimes hard because sometimes we don't have a chance to overcome our anger. But it's important for us to make up in front of them before bedtime, and that actually.
Sometimes it will just turn around and ease things off a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You end up having a laugh and things over it. And
so we look at each other, and I say, if I don't feel it in that moment, for instance, to say sorry, but I'll just give you the look, and I say, I'm sorry, Daddy, for earlier, and then I'll talk later. No, but it always ends in laugh, and that's important, no? Mention.
Yeah.
And the last thing I wanted to say on this was what we often don't do, us as humans, I think, that we don't appreciate what we have. It's like you went to the office the other day and you said you would come back just to put the baby down and then go back because you went out, that day. And just to give you a bit of a context, I have some issues when it's too many stimulants, and I usually need help during bedtime because I can get really triggered. So Yao went to the office and he said, I'm gonna come back just to help you with bedtime, so drive, which is around 30-40 minutes drive, just to help you and then go back. And that's nothing unusual from you. You do that and other amazing things, Angel. But I could just easily go, okay. But then I thought about it, like, oh my God, like he is willing to finish work, drive all the way here while he's knackered, I'm sure, help me and then go back. And all these things that we take for granted, like it doesn't have to be anything big, it can be small, like, I don't know. We often expect massive things from our partners, but it can be just maybe they don't feel great, but they're there for you when you need them, for instance, or they listen to you, or they stay up a bit longer, even when they're knackered. And we just don't see what these things for what they are, and we don't give them the meaning, and then we just look for what's wrong. How can I nag him or her? Mostly it's women, let's be honest, who nag. I do nag, I know, sometimes, but
No, but everybody does from time to
yeah,
time.
but I see the things you do, and that's very important because then it just shifts the way you feel and think as well.
I think from both sides, everybody wants to feel like not just wanted, but appreciated
Exactly.
for the little things. And I just sometimes, again, everything that we're kind of saying here is from our own perspective. Other people's relationships could be completely different,
Yeah.
and it completely works and things. But just being in a position where, you do something small, but someone just says, "Oh, cheers" or whatever and things. But then I know some people turn around and hype it up and say, "What do I have to turn around and say thank you for every little thing and stuff that person does?" Either partner. Why not? You're in the thing together and stuff, right? So why not praise each other for the little things? Because I generally find that life is hard as, life is just hard sometimes. And sometimes you need the little kind of compliments here and there just to kind of keep yourselves going and things. And you're like, okay, you've had a rubbish day, you've had da-da-da-da. But you know what? At least I know that when I come home, my family appreciate what I do and things. Okay, again, not to say that you shouldn't do these things anyway. It's just something that for us personally as a couple, we need to kind of do the washing, and we need to do putting the kids to bed, and we need to hoover. We need, all those things are natural. But again, if someone's actually saying, "Oh, do you know what? Thanks for doing that," that's kind of made our lives a little bit easier and things. People just feel a bit more confident about doing these things, and you don't, in those instances, don't have to nag someone to try and do it because
They want to do
yeah,
more.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how can I help out and stuff? I'm tired in this way, but I can do this, and vice versa.
Yeah. I think we can wrap it up with, if you want to change someone, change yourself first.
Absolutely.
No.
There is no...
But not in a bad way, because some people might argue, like, why should I change? He is or she is the problem, yeah? But actually, when you change your views and perception, then the other people will change as well. It's like you said, for instance, if you just shift that thing from nagging to praising, that can make all the difference.
And it's weird. It's strange to kind of think to yourself, but I've asked that person to do it X amount of time.
Yeah.
Why am I going to go and praise that person and stuff now that they've done
Why
it?
can't they understand
Yes,
after
absolutely.
I told them?
But it's funny because I can't find the right words to turn around and say it, but that appreciation goes so much further than the nagging does. It just does, because people generally, it's like when you smile at someone, someone will feel a lot happier in themselves, like being smiled at, than someone growling at them. Because even if you're going into the hormone, you're getting a rush of things. You feel that person feels good in doing it, and by doing that, it just means that everything's a bit lighter, less of a harsh kind of environment and things.
We need to do more of that as well, and remember, because sometimes we all forget, and we get caught up in the
moment.
Like, why can't you be fast?
Yeah.
In that case, no.
Why are you chomping?
Why are you chewing
Why are
so
you
loud?
chewing?
You breathe.
Okay.
No, breathing, we're not there yet.
No.
You're breathing too loud.
Just give us a couple of years and stuff, and then I'll be
I'm
breathing way too loud and stuff. See,
that's the next level.
No, but that's what I mean. We're all human, and we're all in a position where things will get on our nerves and stuff sometimes, but I suppose we're we look out for each other a bit more, appreciate each other a bit more. It sounds a bit corny as you like, but you do that, then life is just a little bit less heavy. And sometimes that's all you need to just kind of give yourselves a chance, I think. Okay. I'm not talking anymore.
Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, well done.
Yeah, if you made it this far, good luck. Maybe we should send out badges. I survived this podcast.
That's a great idea. Wow. Anyway, have a good evening and see you or hear you, hear you next week. Bye.
Take care. Bye.